My man, Logan, welcome back. Episode 1 was a success, great feedback. Thank all you guys. But Logan has returned. What's going on? How was your week?
I was in the hospital, but I'm good to go now. Cruise Control is live with me and Travis. It almost sounded like I was going to go with the Studios chant there with Cruise Control.
The resurgence of the New Day this week on Talking Smack got you almost there, huh?
Can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Kofi and his Snoop Dogg haircut now. I love it. But real quick, Logan, where can everyone check you out?
Catch me on Twitter at Logan Myers144. Still can't believe I'm on Twitter. I mean,
I know.
It's shocker.
It's like a dream.
Well, I mean, this is the dream team, so
the Velveteen Dream, you could say. We'll get to the Velveteen Dream probably at some point in the show because I'm dying to know what you thought. But real quick, yes, and follow me on Twitter at the Hibiki TMD. Check out the Reset Button Slam Picks podcast. Hit that subscribe on Hibiki TMD on YouTube and join the Facebook group. But Logan, we are here for Cruise Control. 205 Live was in fact that again this week, and I got to say, man, and all apologies to the listeners. We had some hiccups last week. We missed last week's, but I'm glad we did because this week's episode, from top to bottom, was a very solidly booked show. Vignettes actually made sense. You actually had promo packages where the talent were looking into the camera for once. Let's take it off the bat. The show opened up with the Brian Kendrick, Logan.
Yeah, we had a video package that had me intrigued. You know, it showed a little bit more of intensity of Brian Kendrick. And it almost seemed like it was a real life, hatred between him and Akira Tozawa. Don't you think, Travis?
I do. And as much flack as you and I have given Kendrick over the past couple months, I don't think either one of us have taken away anything from his promo abilities. If anything, best he's ever been in his career in promos, in my opinion.
And I agree. I know we've been criticizing him for months and just saying he isn't the guy that, we want to see in the cruiserweight division. We're not really that excited. But at the end of the day, like you said, he can really talk on the microphone. I mean, he is definitely 10 times better than a Roman Reigns, and that's trying to be nice as possible.
Who has been, to Roman's credit, he's also been doing a little better lately because it seems like he's more of a chance to be himself. But back to Brian Kendrick, yeah, I agree also. And we're always on Cruise Control. Union Smack, by the way, debut show, Logan. Thank you guys for the feedback on that with Matt Tennant and Slam Pigs. We always give credit where it's due. We're not one of those shows where we just bury a guy for the sake of it. As much flack as Roman's gotten, Logan, Michael, myself, we always praise the man when he does something good, and that's what we're saying about Kendrick. I didn't realize how long this feud with Tozawa and Kendrick had gone on until they mentioned it, and I was like, holy shit, it really has been forever.
Yeah, it's almost been as long as actually it's been longer than the Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman.
Yeah, way longer than Aries and Neville, but like we said, it opened up with Kendrick with a great promo, recapping the feud, and like I said, looking right into the camera lens, and that's on the list of talent on the main roster, at least one of the forbidden things to do. You actually saw more of that on main roster shows this week. I can't remember off the top of my head. Somebody cut a promo looking into a camera on SmackDown or Raw. We saw it on 205 Live. We've seen more of it with the UK and NXT. Is times kind of changing, you think, the more Triple H takes the helm, or that old school look into the camera, which I love, by the way, and I think to get a good heel over in a promo, they need to look right through the lens. Do you think that's coming back, Logan?
I'm hoping. I mean, to me, when you're looking into the camera, it makes anybody seem more like you can actually take them more seriously.
Yeah, it makes the angle more personable. It makes you feel more connected with the performer, basically. It's nothing but a plus.
It makes to me personally, it makes me feel like I'm watching a movie that's really intense and I'm really can get into it. when they're not looking into the camera, it's just like, what the hell am I watching?
It's weird. It's like, I don't know. It's like, you know how they have two cameras. It's like they're looking at the other camera, but they miss their cue. It comes off awkward sometimes, I guess. But yeah, that's what the show opened up with, and right to the fireworks explosions. The show kicked off with Rich Swann, Logan, in action with Arya Davari. Not a bad match, not a great match, a good match in my opinion. What did you think, Luke?
Like I've always been a fan of Rich. He can really go in the ring. He's
Local boy for us.
very athletic. And I think his kicks are just crazy. His high flying moves are amazing. Really, you can't say anything negative about Rich Swann.
What do you think about it? Since Rich Swann's been on 205 Live, been the Cruiserweight Champion, what is it about Rich Swann you think just hasn't got him over the top in the fans' eyes? Because in my opinion, I mean, it's clicked, but not really, because it hasn't really gotten a chance to go over the top, and he gets lackluster reactions, let's be honest. What do you think he's missing?
There's definitely something missing. And it's just, I can't really tell what it is. That's the bad part about it. He's just been thrown into weird segments, weird matches, weird feuds. It's just you don't really know why he's in the cruiserweight division.
Half the time I forget he was a former Cruiserweight Champion also, and that wasn't that long ago. That's sad. But yeah, like you said, Rich Swann had some great moves in this match. He does have an incredible moveset, charismatic as hell. Now, the other end of the spectrum, speaking of charisma, Arya Davari. And as much as a great fucking guy outside of the ring as Sean Davari is, his brother, for like all the good deeds he does, and phenomenal guy. I don't think either brother ever had A, charisma, B, like a jump off the screen type factor. I just think they are both solid, get guys over talent. And I think that's what Davari is, the younger Davari is going to be in 205 Live. Not taking anything away from either Davari brother. That's just not everybody can be champion. That just goes to show you that like certain guys have certain jobs. And I think he does the role well. He literally now, what's funny about it, like we saw last week where his expensive shirt got ruined. It looks exactly like a shirt The Rock would wear from like 99. You wonder if like The Rock might borrow one of his old shirts for the angle. Like, sure, it's just sitting in my closet anyway.
That's true. That's true. It's making me think now. No, I gotta say something. You said you kind of forget, that Rich Swann was a former cruiserweight champion, and I think partially, actually not partially. The main reason why is because how good Neville has become and how big Neville has become since he's joined the cruiserweight division.
Yeah.
I think he overshadows what Rich Swann did before. And actually, it kind of makes me forget that TJP was even a cruiserweight champion before, or even won the cruiserweight classic.
And Brian Kendrick. And I really think the only person who's held the cruiserweight title since the tournament that it's made sense has been Neville, because it didn't make sense for TJP for me. It made even less sense for Brian Kendrick, and even less sense with Rich Swann. Like down the road maybe, but I thought it was way too soon for Swann. But when the belt finally got to Neville, it felt like A, it felt like it made sense, and B, it felt like it just made the whole division feel like a different show in a good way.
Maybe that's what kind of hurt Rich Swann, was because they threw the championship on him too quickly.
Yeah, I'd like to think that's why. Other than that, I mean, I got nothing. Like, he was totally over in the tournament. Like, the fans loved him. He good performances from Swan. So, but yeah, good match with Ari Davari. Swan gets the win. Logan, what'd you think of the match?
I mean, I enjoyed the match. I mean, it wasn't bad, and it wasn't great, but it was good. I mean, but here's the thing for me on Davari. At the end of the day, why should we even take him seriously? There's no reason. I mean, to me, he's like that. He's the cruiserweight jobber in my book, and I hate to say that because all the talent on the cruiserweight division to me should be looked at in some sort of or fashion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I don't even know what to think of the word quote unquote jobber anymore, especially after this Sunday night when Jinder Mahal won the title. I don't know where we're at in wrestling right now, to be honest. And if you would have told me a month ago Breezango would be the most over tag team in the company, I would have laughed in your face. But here we are. it's
And he did it.
the way WWE has been booking lately, and I have no problem with it, by the way. I like that we're getting change. I'm not gonna lie that I can't see the title on Davari down the road. You know, who knows at this point what people think back there. But I totally agree with what you said. I like, and this is just what I would do with the guy too. It's just he's enhancement talent, and you need that. You know, if you have a promotion where everybody is a former world champion, let's think about it. This is every guy on your roster has already won the world title. I don't know about you, but when a Royal Rumble winner is a guy, the winner has won the title before, I could care less because I'm all about guys breaking through that have never won a title. You know what I mean? So if you have a roster with everybody on the former champion, where's the excitement? It's like, well, he's already had it before. Does that make more sense, I guess?
Yeah, and me, you, and Michael talked about this the other day. You know, Michael mentioned what about a cruiserweight tag team division, but there's not enough talent on the division to do that.
No, there's only an
I think
hour
it would
right now.
help. I think it would help a guy like Davari in my book, but I just don't see it happening.
But yeah, that was the match where Swan gets the win. And post match, this was cool. I liked it because I didn't see it coming. Here comes Noam Dar, pushes Rich Swann off, lands literally on his head like Taka Michinoku when he got eliminated from the Royal Rumble, if you remember that. Yeah, it looked nasty. Rich Swann's fine, of course. He's just really good at selling. And I got to say it again another week. I am loving the pairing of Noam Dar and Alicia Fox. I know you hate it, but I just think they play off of each other so well. Way more than her real life boyfriend did on television with her, Cedric Alexander, who we'll get to in a little bit. But what'd you think of the post match tag?
To me, it brings out a little bit more of Noam Dar, but storyline wise, I guess after I saw that attack, maybe I was looking for Cedric Alexander to come out because he is partial reason why that feud's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. But obviously, this continues the story with Swan and Dar. We come back. Speaking of the devil, who made his return this week, Logan?
Cedric Alexander did, and I mean that was awesome. I'm a fan of Cedric. A lot of people are, but don't forget we did have a preview of the cruiserweight championship between Neville and Austin Aries when they both were via satellite.
Was that before the Cedric match? I thought that was after. I don't have my format. I don't have my shit
before.
together like you. Well, let's talk about the face-to-face then. Neville and Aries, old school WWF prime time style. I love when they do this with like the line in between the dual screen, just like back in the day. But yeah, I can't really complain about a whole lot about this promo. It didn't lose me. It was losing the live crowd, but that's because the live crowd has sat through SmackDown, obviously. But I thought this was really well done. Obviously Neville came off way better, in my opinion, than Aries. I just think I prefer Neville's promos better. But what did you think, Logan?
I actually enjoyed the Austin Aries and what he got to say. This feud's become actually personal in my book, and I think the part where that gets me mostly intrigued about this is Neville is so good at what he's doing right now, and I think he can play off of any face in the cruiserweight division.
I think he could play off any face on the main roster. He's so good. Neville is knocking it out of the park so much, in my opinion, that he could be in WWE title contention. I don't see why he couldn't.
I don't see why not. I mean, look at what he's brought to. When he was a face, I found him very, very boring, and I don't know why.
And most times we would say that's WWE's fault how they booked him, but no. Even in NXT, I totally agree. He was boring as paint as a babyface. In Japan, he even as a babyface, yeah, his movesets were amazing, but when you go back and watch clips of him as Pac, he was still boring as paint as babyface. It's like, did he accidentally stumble into this backstage one day, or like he's just like, I need to do this heel? Like, whoever discovered that he should go heel should have been given a raise, in my opinion, because one of the best breakout guys in the last couple years, in my opinion, has been heel Neville. Like who knew? Who knew Logan? You know?
I completely agree. He's come a long way since NXT. He's come a long way And I think that's part of the reason why I'm a 205 Live fan. I think that's part of the reason why I'm a cruiserweight division fan is because of Neville.
Single-handedly, he has just grabbed the division by the throat and said, "Let's go." You know, when he first came out as the heel
He's
Neville.
scary.
But yeah, the face-to-face interview, like I said, another chance for the guys to look directly into the camera the entire time for this. And this was like a 5-minute promo.
Like you said, the live crowd wasn't into it. I was into it because I'm that type of fan. I mean, I can sit through hours and hours and hours of wrestling,
Yeah.
but when you're there live, it's a different story.
Oh, you mean like WrestleMania this year? It was like 8 hours. But yeah. This totally enhanced the match at Extreme. A submission match, by the way. Very unique gimmick for a cruiserweight match on an Extreme Rules show, nonetheless. Do you think that the match is going to fall flat because it's a submission match, or do you think they're going to surprise everybody with what they have in store?
I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. When Austin Aries mentioned that he had so many submissions that he hasn't shown people, that reminded me so much of Dean Malenko on the 1,000 Holds versus Chris Jericho in 1,001.
Yeah. Oh man, some of the best Jericho stuff ever with like the list, and he just kept saying arm bar. It's great. But yeah, I'm excited for the match. Next, now we can talk about the return of Cedric Alexander. And I've seen a lot of people online, you know, saying they're worried for the reaction he got because let's be real, he really didn't get a reaction for his return. But look what show it's on. That's not really his fault. You know what I mean? This goes back again to how they book it and with a dead live crowd, Logan, you know?
I wouldn't have given him a reaction just because he had a jobber to face.
That speaking of, I do want to talk about what was his name, Brady Boone or Daniel Boone or something. The guy looked
Johnny
like
Boone.
he looked like he was 50 years old. Is I don't know if they had like he was cocky backstage to Alexander or he just Alexander didn't like something he did. But this whole 2-minute match was nothing but Alexander just potatoing this poor guy. Especially like the very first move of the match with that spinning back elbow, which was solid and rough and stiff as they come.
That was actually in my notes. That elbow shot
This
was crazy.
Besides the obvious last week, you know, the UK title takeover. This was my match of the week just because of the obliteration of this poor jobber. I mean, everything Alexander did in this match, it just made me think this poor guy was like a prick backstage or something. You know what I mean? Like teach him a lesson type thing. What did you think?
It was basically me being Cedric Alexander and Michael being Johnny Boone on Slam Pigs.
Wow.
That's basically, and yes, I'm throwing shots. So I hope he listens to this episode. Travis, you're gonna have to get him to listen to this episode.
I will try, but I can't make promises. I know if it's affiliated with 205 Live, Michael's not too keen on it. Even us. But yeah, my
Well, just
God.
say he was mentioned.
But yeah, my God. I mean, Alexander, obviously, he's Cedric Alexander, one of the best guys in the division. The guy I would have put the title on at first, and you agreed also on the first episode. But he looks better than ever. By the end of the match, he got a nice little reaction. I love his finisher. I don't know if they're going to make him tweak his finisher because like Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate use those kind of moves so much. But Cedric Alexander has so many moves up his sleeve. I don't think that would be an issue. But I'm glad that they kept him away from Noam Dar and Alicia Fox. And in my opinion, I don't think he's going anywhere around that angle again. Now, I could be completely wrong, but I really feel like they're taking him seriously this time. And he's going after whoever wins the title match at Extreme Rules.
It's a good possibility, but I hope he doesn't become the next Rich Swan.
Yeah, I'm weird.
And I'm trying to say that, and I just don't want to see it because Cedric Alexander has talent. I'm not saying Rich Swan doesn't, but I'm saying at the end of the day, Cedric Alexander deserves that belt because he's really good in the ring. He does have a good reaction. I mean, I know he didn't really have it at 205 Live. I just think I don't want him to throw the belt on him, and then just lose interest, just like Rich Swan.
I think of what they'll do to Cedric Alexander if they mess it up more along like an Apollo Crews thing, like all the potential in the world. But look what they're doing to Apollo Crews right now. Sad.
It's. I wouldn't mind adding Cedric Alexander to the feud and keeping Aries in there, because where would Aries go from there?
I don't know, man. I really don't. Unless he wins the title, I could see them doing like a babyface thing with Aries and Alexander. You got to do that sometimes. But now, correct me if I'm wrong. The next thing on the show was the Mr. Gulak promo.
that promo was.
My favorite part of the whole show, besides the jobber squash with Cedric Alexander, I love what they're doing with Drew Gulak. I don't know about you.
I get what they're trying to do, but at the same time, I just don't know if I could take the whole no high flying thing.
It feels like right to censor, in a way.
It does. He reminds me so much of Stevie Richards.
Yeah, he really does. I'm just glad they gave the guy something to do because he's really talented. He just, unfortunately for him, he doesn't have a great look. You know what I mean? Kind of like an Oni Lorcan type thing.
That's a good point.
But yeah, I love the promo just because it was so bad it's good, and I thought it was hilarious. Yeah, I guess he's going to keep going after Mustafa Ali. We'll see. Where do you see this gimmick? Do you see this kind of being a bust? Like it's probably not going to do Drew Gulak any favors, or do you think it's going to work?
I don't think it's going to work. Because I just don't know. I mean, I know that's not his in-ring style. So really, I don't even know if I like him in the cruiserweight division, just like Tony Nese.
Yeah. Yeah, Tony Nese got treated like such a bitch on Raw this week with Neville like just coming in for the fuck of it, just to beat him up some more. Like Tony Nese, man, I know we talk about it a lot. That guy deserves so much better. He really does. He's so good, and we've only seen like a fraction of what that guy's capable of, which is scary. Like I don't know if you watched him on PWG or any of that stuff, Logan, like on the Indies, but Jesus Christ, that guy is a total package, just sitting there collecting dust because he's miscast. And it's a crime, really.
And he could be really good in the on Raw or on SmackDown Live, in any of the mid card division. He could even be in the heavyweight division.
Oh yeah, totally. But I get a little fuzzy on the show at this point, Logan. I did catch some of the street fight, but I'm gonna owe you 2 receipts this week because I fell asleep at the end of the street fight. So Logan, pick it up. You're gonna have to carry the ball. Akira Tozawa, who I will give credit to this, as dead as the crowd was at this point. This was 3 hours or 4 hours of wrestling for them. The last match they were going to see that night. The crowd still chanted with Tozawa a lot, and that speaks a lot to how over that chant is. And I think WWE totally noticed that.
They went on for, oh my gosh, I would say almost 28 minutes long match, the street fight, and it was brutal. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying that in a good way. That street fight reminded me too much of a street fight that we normally don't get.
Yeah.
But there was some spots where I just, it's just like the Brian Kendrick. I just don't know if I can take him seriously in any feud. Criticizing, I like his promos. I just don't like him, and I don't know. I don't know what's missing. I don't know why, but towards the end of the match, Tozawa just, to me, it was back and forth, and that was a good thing.
Yeah.
We saw him go up the ramp, back to the ring. But that ending, did you see that table spot?
I did see the clip.
That was a good maneuver. I like that during the match, Brian Kendrick actually tried to do what he did to Tozawa a couple weeks ago in 205 Live. He tried to use the steel steps.
Yeah. Where like Tozawa, like he was laying there, with his eyes wide open like he was having a seizure. I do remember when he attacked him with that. Yeah. They highlighted that clip of Tozawa in the vignette on this episode. But yeah, Logan, what did you think of the match, and where do you think this is the end of the feud with these two, for real, like they say it is?
I hope so. I mean, when you in a feud, when you have a match in a street fight and it's literally 28 minutes of both of the guys kicking each other's asses
It has
and
to be the
just
blow off.
table spots and
Yeah. You have to blow it off, and I agree. I think this is the blow off, and a real nitpicky thing, real quick. I don't know if I would have let Tozawa dye his hair black because I think having his hair blonde differentiated himself more from a Hideo Itami, and I'm not trying to profile or be, racial or anything, but they kind of look a lot similar because let's face it, a lot of Japanese people have similar traits. You know what I mean? So I thought that may be a mistake because I did like him better with blonde hair, but that's nitpicky stuff. He's still Akira fucking Tozawa. His entrance music is fucking awesome. Like it gets me pumped up. I love how they do his logo work on the Titantron like an anime manga or something. It's really cool, and hopefully they have like dollar signs in their eyes with him. That's another guy right there, Cedric Alexander. I could see being thrust in the title picture just because of how over his chants are, if nothing else. You know what I mean? But Logan, that was 205 live this week. This was Cruise Control. Overall, what do you give this week's episode?
a B+.
I'm gonna have to go right there with you. This is right below an A-. This may be the best ever, well-rounded from start to finish episode of 2 Alive 5 I've seen since the show started.
I completely agree. I'm excited about Cedric Alexander in the future. I want to see what they can do. I hope to God he doesn't end up over Swan. Too much talent to see that happen.
Exactly. Let me hit you with the on-the-spot question before we wrap this up. Who would you rather see challenged for the title, Akira Tozawa or Cedric Alexander? It's toughy.
Tozawa.
I would too, simply for the fact that I think it would be too soon to put it on Cedric. And then somewhere down the road, I could even picture myself putting Tozawa heel, and then Cedric goes after Tozawa, like this monster heel. Because I think Tozawa, he definitely pulled that gimmick off in Japan when he was a heel,
I think Tozawa could be the face. I think that chant is not heelish. I could see Cedric Alexander being heel.
Could see that too. I think you could go either way with those guys. You know what I mean? If anything, you're right though. The chant would be the one thing holding him back from being a full heel. But I think a lot of heels have stuff that the fans chant along with too that they're not supposed to. And I don't know. That's just the state of today's fans or something. I guess you would say, Logan. But I don't know. But this was Cruise Control episode number 2, man. Real quick, where can everyone check you out, Logan, and what you do?
Check me out on Twitter at Logan Myers 144. Gotta check me out on Twitter because you'll never see me on Twitter again, basically.
And make sure to check out the brand new Slam Pigs show, Slam Pigs Union Smack with Matt Tennant. He will be appearing, guys, on the Extreme Rules post show with myself, with Logan and Michael, first ever, everyone from Slam Pigs at once on the same show. So I'm really excited for that, Logan. Hopefully you and Michael can behave yourselves this time. I don't have to be a moderator. But hopefully we don't have something like Jinder Mahal winning the title either for us to all come in depressed anyway about. But
yeah, I don't know. Extreme Rules is becoming that I can't wait to see type pay-per-view.
Yeah, we'll see. Raw wasn't very good this week. We'll get to that on the Real Slam Pigs full show this week. But one more time, follow me on Twitter at the Hibiki TMD. Check out Slam Pigs Podcast, Cruise Control, Union Smack, The Reset Button. Subscribe to Hibiki TMD on YouTube. And until next time, we'll see you right here. Cruise Control.
Hey, you dirty fucking pigs. Mike here from the Slam Pigs Podcast, reminding you once again to check us out on Twitter, whether it be the Slam Pigs Podcast, whether it be me at Mike the Slam Pig, or whether it be our sister show, The Reset Button. Check us out. Also, you can find us on Facebook at the Slam Pigs Podcast or the Reset Button. And as always, make sure you check us out as a whole on Hibiki TMD. Until we see you next time,